In this video, I'm going to show the 4 best exercises to strengthen the core and the back for less pain. Stay tuned. Hey everyone, Dr. Rowe coming to you from SpineCare in St. Joseph, Michigan. In this video, we're going to go over 4 easy exercises to help strengthen both the core and the back and hopefully lead to a lot less instances of future pain and injury. A note about the exercises, each one works just a little bit differently. They're going to target different muscles. To get the best results, go through all the exercises and use what works best for you. With that being said, let's get started. So this is going to be a modified dead bug exercise. It's going to be shown in 3 different steps, with the first step being easiest, the third step being the hardest. So the first step is called the half dead bug. We're going to lie flat on our back in bed or on a floor. Have your legs roughly hip width apart and knees bent at 90 degrees. Take your hands, put them off to your side for support. What we're going to do is start off by taking one leg and just straightening our knee, lowering that leg downward towards the bed or the floor. But don't let it touch, just let it hover an inch or 2 above. In this position, you're really going to feel the core, back, and leg muscles engaged to support this position. Hold this comfortably for 3 to 5 seconds, relax, and then repeat this on the other side. Do this nice and slowly for 5 to 10 times on both sides. But if it feels like you have a little bit more energy, challenge yourself by throwing in another set or 2. So for most people, the half dead bug is going to be pretty easy. So if you would like to make it more challenging, you can move on to the second step, which would be the full dead bug. It's pretty similar. So let's get back into our original position, but this time around we're going to put our hands straight upward towards the ceiling. What we're going to do is lower one leg down and the opposite side's arm. So I'm lowering my left leg and my right arm. You're just going to notice that this challenges those muscles a lot more. Again, 3 to 5 second hold, relax, repeat this on the other side for 5 to 10 repetitions. So if you really would like to take this one to the next level, you can do an exercise, what I call the pedaling dead bug. This one is actually pretty fun. So let's get back into that step 1 position of having our legs roughly hip width apart, knees bent, hands off to our side. Now just mimic pedaling a bicycle, just nice light circles, nothing intense. This time around, you're really going to feel a good activation of the leg muscles, especially right here on the front of your legs, the hip flexors that works down into the groin, into the core, into the back. I like to do this roughly for about 3 to 5 seconds. Relax, take a breather. On the next repetition, to make it a little bit more challenging, just pedal a little further out, because the further that you pedal out, lowering your legs down like this, the harder it will be. But don't go to the point where it's causing any pain or discomfort. So if that's the case, just lift your knees up like this. But I try to find that one spot that's just really challenging, and at that point I do this about 3 to 5 times. So for this exercise, we're going to start on all fours on a floor, and if you do have a lot of knee sensitivity or pain, I would put a pillow or towel underneath them for extra comfort. So the first movement is called a bear hold. What we want to do first is brace the core muscles. It's kind of like when somebody pokes you in your stomach, how you tense up. Mimic that and hold it during this exercise. I also like to lightly squeeze my glutes. It's kind of like just squeezing your butt a little bit to help engage those muscles. So from here, we're going to place all of our lower body weight onto our toes, and while our core is engaged, we're just going to use our body strength to slowly lift our knees upward like this off the floor. Just let them hover about an inch or 2. In this position, you're really going to feel the core muscles, the back and the glutes start to fire to stabilize this position. Try to hold this one for about 5 seconds. Relax, take a breather, and then repeat this one nice and slowly for about 10 to 15 times. If you would like to experiment with different hold times, maybe going 10 to 15 seconds, you're more than welcome to. But I would just try to get comfortable with this position and do short bursts for 10 to 15 times. But if it does feel like you have a little bit more energy, try to throw some more repetitions in. So if you would like to take this one to the next level and engage a lot more muscles, you can build into what is called the bird dog. This is one of my absolute favorite full body strengthening exercises. It really helps work the core too. So we're going to start on all fours. What we're going to do first is take one leg like this, and you want to keep your foot, the top of your foot, flat on the floor, and just slide it away from you like this, pointing your toes away at the same time. Just reach out as much as you can until you feel a light stretch form in your calf that works upward towards the back of your leg, into the hamstring, around the glutes, into the lower back. Once you feel it all the way into the lower back, you're going to hold this position and now slowly lift your leg upward like this, so it's roughly in line with your body. You're going to feel a ton of muscles start to fire. And if you do have a lot of weakness, probably what you're going to notice is your body's going to sway a ton too. So this will help strengthen the core in the back, but also help improve coordination and balance. I like to hold this one for 3 to 5 seconds, relax, and then repeat this on the other side. Do that for about 10 to 15 times. But if you would like to take the bird dog to the next level, as you do this, hold one leg up and then just lift the opposite side's arm. It's going to be a lot more challenging, so be prepared for it, but progress into it when you are ready. So here's a unique core and back strengthening exercise that you can do standing. So if you find that you have a couple free minutes at work, give this one a try. All you need is a wall or a door. So let's start with very good upright posture. You want to keep your body and back as straight as possible. I like to place all of my body weight onto my heels too for a little bit more support. So the first movement, what we're going to focus on doing is taking one knee, bending it roughly at 90 degrees, and driving that knee upward towards the ceiling as much as we can, with the goal of trying to get this knee above your hip, because that will really help engage the muscles right here on the top of the thigh called the hip flexors. If you're unable to get your knee above your hip, do the best you can. You just want to hold that position. So from there, what I'm going to do is now brace my core muscles. Again, it's when somebody tries to poke you in your stomach, how you tense up. Mimic that and hold it during the exercise. And for support, you can just put your hands right here on the door. So in this position, you should already start to feel a lot of muscles start to fire, but this is how we're going to take it to the next level. We're going to take one arm off, make a fist like this, and now rotate through your lower back towards the opposite side. So as you do this, you're going to feel a lot more muscles engage around the core into the lower back. Hold this comfortably for about 5 seconds, relax, and then repeat this on the other side. I try to do this nice and slowly for about 10 to 15 repetitions on both sides. But if it feels like you have a little bit more energy, challenge yourself by throwing in another set or 2. So this is what I call the bridge circuit. If you're unfamiliar with the bridge exercise, it's one of the absolute safest and best ways to strengthen both the core and the back. We're going to start lying flat on our back in bed or on a floor. Have your legs roughly hip width apart, knees bent, feet flat. Take your hands, put them off to your side for support. Let's begin by bracing our core muscles. Again, it's like when somebody pokes you in your stomach, how you tense up. Mimic that to help protect the spine during this exercise. I also like to lightly squeeze my glutes or my buttocks to engage those muscles. So after we've done all of that, what we're going to do is just lightly press our heels downward into the bed or the floor, and then slowly lift our hips upward towards the ceiling until our knees, our hips, and our shoulders are in a nice straight line. If you're unable to get into this position because of weakness or pain, like you can only go up a little bit, do the best you can. Hopefully over time you'll gain strength and flexibility to get into this position, but you should feel a ton of muscles start to fire. The core, the back, the glutes, and the legs. Hold this comfortably for 3 to 5 seconds and then relax, take a breather. Repeat this 10 to 15 times, and with each repetition, try to build into it just a little bit more. But if it does feel like you have a little bit more energy, challenge yourself by throwing in another set or 2. So for many people, the bridge is going to be pretty basic. It's going to be pretty easy. So if you would like to make this one a little bit more challenging, you can progress into the second part of this circuit by adding in a marching motion. So let's get back into the bridge, but this time around what we're going to do is lift one knee up like this, keeping it roughly at about 90 degrees, and then driving that knee towards our chest until we feel a really good activation of the muscles right here on the top of our thigh, including the hip flexors, that works downward into the hips, across the pelvis, into the back, also into the core. Hold this one comfortably for a second or two, and then you're just going to repeat this on the other side. I like to do this a couple times on both sides, and then I just relax and then take a breather, and then repeat this about 5 to 10 times. But again, if it feels like you have a little bit more energy, challenge yourself by throwing in another set or two. But if you really want to take this one to the next level, you can progress into the most challenging part of this circuit. So let's build back into our bridge, but this time around what we're going to do is take one leg, straighten it out like this, so we have our leg straight at the knee, point our toes away, and now bring that leg towards you as much as you can, reaching upward with your foot towards the ceiling. You should feel a really deep activation of the muscles, the hip flexors right here, but also the core really fighting to stabilize this movement. Hold this one 3 to 5 seconds. You're just going to relax, and then you're going to repeat this on the other side. Try to do this about 5 to 10 times on both sides. But again, if it feels like you have a lot more energy, try to throw in another set or two. But go through all of these movements. You're probably going to find that one is just the most challenging. Maybe it's the marching motion. At that point, throw more repetitions in. And I really do hope that these exercises help build a lot of strength across your core into your back. If the exercises help, please support the channel by giving this video a like and maybe subscribing too. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them below. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks for watching.